You're listening to Prosper in the Kingdom, the podcast where faith meets practical strategies to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Join hosts Jon Cleaver and Wendy Lee as they share insights to equip you in your journey toward abundance, spiritually, financially, and beyond. Just a reminder, every situation is unique. The content of this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as specific financial or medical advice.
Welcome, everybody, back with another Prosper in the Kingdom. Hope you're doing awesome. I know I am. And Wendy, how are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Can't complain. The sun is shining and, everybody's alive and healthy.
There you go. There you go. Well, welcome back, folks. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another episode of Prosper in the Kingdom. Today, I want to share something. I'm plugged into a men's group at my church, and it's a pretty awesome group. And we do, I think it's the Bible app. It's U version or something like that, but we call it the Bible app. But one of the studies we just started, it came out of the gate with something that really just rang true to me. And I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not the only one. We're going to talk about it. So today's episode is Eyes Forward, how to stay focused when life gets noisy, as it does very often. So this is based on Proverbs 4:25. Let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you. Okay. And I apologize. I got low sleep last night, so I'm a little all over the place. But I mean, it sounds simple. But the question, to stay focused. Okay, that's so much easier said than I don't know. Can you relate to this, Wendy?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited we're talking about this today because you don't know this, but I just listened to a podcast like literally on this very thing. And I was just literally. And I was just like kind of thinking about my own life and like, how focused am I? Am I focused on the right things? Anyway, so I'm glad we're digging into this topic. But yes, most everyone we come across is fully distracted. And so I'm excited to dig in.
Yeah, and it seems that, whenever you're trying to make a move, right? Whether it's a money move or you're trying to improve yourself, professional growth, going for that promotion, or better yourself or whatever, or, getting healthy, right? It's all of a sudden something happens. And I'm going through that right now. And I've shared that with you personally. It's like, I don't know what happened. What's going on, right? My calendar, we've got this mission that we're on with Prosper in the Kingdom. And, the folks that have been following us, we've kind of gone through a branding change. And that really came about as, a personal, in my opinion, a personal call from God to really focus in on helping fellow Christians, teaching them how to become healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? And all of a sudden, my schedule has blown up. My son plays baseball in college, right? He plays for the Kentucky Wildcats. And so I'm busy during the baseball season. Once that was over, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. My calendar is going to be wide open to get all these home projects done, to really kind of dive in with Prosper in the Kingdom and really kind of take that to the next level. And the health stuff, I've been posting about losing some pounds and trying to get in shape. And I am just slammed with all kinds of things happening. I mean, I've got my mom moving to Tennessee. I'm doing all that, trying to sell a house. And it's just, it's just crazy with, all the stuff that's come up. And, when I talk to you, it's like, oh yeah, same deal. And it's almost like when you try to step out, you try to get out of your comfort zone, you try to level up, the enemy attacks, and he comes at you sometimes with both barrels blazing to keep you down and to get you back. And I don't know if you, the listener, can relate to this. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we can be distracted from the dreams and visions God's put in our heart, then and I think I said this on a past episode, the enemy can't get my soul, right? That's already bought and paid for. So if he can distract me and keep me from doing the things that I know God has called me to, that I also need time and financial freedom to be able to do, then he wins, right? He wins by preventing you, right, from impacting more people and winning. I mean, and ultimately, right, bringing more souls to the Lord. So, yeah.
Bingo. Bingo. No, I love it. And it's usually, especially if you're listening to this, I mean, we've got, entrepreneurs, we've got multiple channels, we've got the podcast, we got the YouTube channel, we're on social media, Facebook, and we're streaming there and things like that. So we've got a lot of people that watch it. So, and typically the people that watch us are, A-type personalities trying to level up, so, that's one of those things that, it's not like you don't have goals if you're listening to this channel, is what I'm trying to say. Most people out there have some goals and things like that. But we lose focus because those obstacles feel bigger than our mission, right? It's one of those things. And, I've had somebody say this in the past, you always make time for what your priorities are. Whether it's spending time with your kids, or maybe you're not spending enough time with your family and your kids or whatever, but, it's one of those things that it really, you've got to knock those distractions out and recognize what they are. They're the enemy trying to keep you down. And, you look at, money, you start saving, and these are some examples, you start saving money, then all of a sudden your car breaks down, or a too good to pass up deal happens, right? And it empties your bank account, right? We talked about helping Gen Z save money for a house last episode. And that's one of those things. And I'm telling you, Gen Z listeners out there, that's going to happen. All of a sudden, some unknown expenses are just going to, out of the blue, happen. And, we see it with professional growth. You're trying to level up. We have people that, I want to start a side hustle, start a business, work with you guys to prosper in the kingdom. Fantastic. It's great because you can set your own schedule on your spare time. Then all of a sudden, the spare time that they had is gone. Something out of left field comes in. It's just like, wow. So
yeah, it's funny because I talk to people and they say, oh, in a couple of months when I'm kind of rolling the ball down the hill, going later. I think that was the wrong expression, but you know what I'm talking about. Like constantly putting off things because life happens. Yep. And it's like, when are we going to learn that life is going to keep happening? So it's seriously, not the external things that we need to change. It's the mindset, the internal things. Like it's our actions and our mind and our heart that need to adjust, because life's going to keep throwing things, and I my favorite quote, and I don't quote it exactly, I paraphrase, from Jim Rohn. One of the most impactful quotes of my life is like, you can't change the blowing of the wind, you can just adjust the sails. So like thinking about, you're on a ship and you have the sails, like you going to let the wind shipwreck you, or are you going to adjust the sails accordingly so that you can end up where you're supposed to be? And we have that, us along with the God, the Holy Spirit, we can get there. So.
Well, and that's, and again, going back to verse, Proverbs 4:25, right? I mean, and that was the lead verse on this new study we're doing. It's not just a nice verse, right? It's a commandment to stay locked in no matter what, right? It is about refusing to let what's behind you or beside you pull your eyes off the road. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, and I would love to hear from you, the listener. I mean, chime in the chat. Chime in, in the comments or whatever, if you've ever had this happen. I'd love to hear your story. But it's one of those things that it just, it's not for whatever reason, I know what it is, but it's so frustrating. And, it's like getting in shape. We talk about getting healthy and stuff like that. I've got a nice little gym I've set up in my garage, had it all dialed in, ready to go. And then I started moving my mom, and now I've got my garage full of stuff that she doesn't have room in her new house that's in my garage now. And it's like, I'm just shaking my head going, I'm telling me, oh, that's an excuse, go out and lift a tree trunk or something like that. Right. And
we try and make all these beautiful plans, and then
I know, right?
Yep.
Oh, it's crazy.
So let's dig in on a couple of those things. Like let's dig in on the financial piece, right? Like I love Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. And I actually wrote in my Bible the other day that wealth, and it's because I pulled it from scriptures I was reading in Proverbs, and I think it was around this one, but like wealth built outside of wisdom in haste, it goes away. And a lot of us out there are trying to build wealth in haste, right? But when you build wealth with wisdom, then that's when you can lead to the abundance. And so that's honestly what I've been real focused on lately. Go ahead.
Throw out a couple of examples. What do you mean when you say build wealth in haste?
So the best way to put this is actually what I heard in that podcast this week was signal versus noise. So what happens is we have a goal, right? And let's say, whether you're corporate or entrepreneur, whatever, you have a goal of what you want to save for retirement or what wealth looks like for you or what you want to make in your business this year, right? And you have that goal. And then there's all these, and what you're called to do, right? Like we know our mission now with Prosper in the Kingdom. We have clarity on that. But then somebody comes by and says, oh, you should check out this new business I'm doing that I made, $20,000 last month. And so instead of being focused on the goal that we have with the strengths and with the vision that we know we have for our business, we let that tickle our ear and go, oh, could I do something quicker over here? And that's noise, because what does it cost you? Maybe you make that shift. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I've had so many things thrown my way in the last 3 months. That's, hey, make money here. Hey, make money here. Oh my gosh, look at I have a girlfriend. She's made like 6 figures in 3 months with some app thing. And she, showed it to me, but I told her, I said, I have to be laser focused on where I'm going. Yes. Could I make a quick buck there? Could I make some money? Maybe make $50,000. And, I did that with digital marketing. I made like $40,000 in 3 months, but at what cost? I took 3 months away from my focus on the main goal that I have, which is building what we're building, and distracted. And I also let people down, because the people that I brought into that, guess what? I wasn't hanging around. I made my quick money and I stepped out. And so we cause more destruction when we're not laser focused and moving forward. I mean, exactly what the scripture you brought up first says, like moving forward. So that's building wealth in haste. And guess what? You build that money, and then big things happen. You lose it. Where I think too, there's a spiritual aspect that God knows what he has for you. And when you let the enemy distract you or the world distract you with different things coming your way, and your motivation is make money and not fulfill my purpose and my calling, then we're not rewarded with the blessing.
No, bingo. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, it's one of the things where, by you doing that, by you chasing money or whatever, and I'm not talking about you, Wendy, I'm talking about you, the figurative you, looking at chasing money, things like that, you end up getting distracted and God ends up pulling back, because it's like, okay, well, you don't want this blessing I'm trying to give you. You're taking your own path. And I had a recent challenge of that as well, where, I kind of went left when I was, felt that I should have gone right. And, I was convicted about it. And so, you look at that, it's one of those things of staying focused on your goals and building out a plan and following the plan, stick to the plan. And don't jump from one thing to the other. You've got to plant your seeds and give it time to fruit before you get frustrated and run on to the next thing. That's the challenge with being, here in America as an American citizen, is we're all about instant gratification, and that's not the winning strategy, right? You can get some quick wins, don't get me wrong, but you've got to make sure you have a foundation of that long plan, that long strategy. So, how do you do that? Well, you start looking at things. One of the other things too is, if you're in a career or things like that, looking at, I want to level up, right? Or I'm a business owner and I feel like I'm, kind of stagnant right now. I want to level up my business, want to expand or things like that, add multiple streams of income, which is kind of the challenge we're in right now. Not challenge, that's the process we're in right now with Prosper in the Kingdom, right? But all of a sudden, my mailbox is full with all these side things and stuff like that. And you've got to remind yourself that, every urgent task that's urgent, I use air quotes there, every urgent task that doesn't push your goals forward is stealing from your future. It's stealing the time.
Amen.
We're talking about time is so valuable. But looking at it from, everything that all of a sudden comes up in front of your face is stealing from those goals. And one of the things that, we talk about when we talk about, developing spending plans and people being in control of their money, we challenge them with the question of, ask yourself, is this purchase or is this financial move me closer or further away from my ultimate financial goals? The same way as this side task or this side hustle of a side hustle, is that moving me closer or further away from my ultimate goals, my plan, my purpose, in life, right?
And not even just the side. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, not even just the side hustles, but like how many times do we have, webinar to make your business go faster, or, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I've signed up for 17 different coaches webinars, and now I'm even more confused. Right. And that's where
exactly.
I feel like we need to get quiet before the Lord and go, what would you have me do? And would pray for wisdom, pray for discernment. Okay, go ahead with that verse.
Yeah. Well, it's Colossians 3:23. It says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. And that's something too I've been reminding myself. It's like, okay, I'm working on my mission from God, right? I'm not working for the person in front of me or the, whatever. Same thing with your company. You may hate your job, but if you chose to be there, work as though you're working for the Lord. But excellence is built in the unseen hours. I mean, that's one of the things that you've got to pay a price. We've talked about that in the past too, where, your 9 to 5, that's paying the bills, right? But those other hours, that's where you start leveling up. That's where you start creating the person you want to be. That's where you start crafting the future you, or the future business for yourself and things like that. And that's really a challenge for people, because that's where all of a sudden everything, well, I got kids sports, I got this, and that, I'm not saying don't do those things, definitely that work-life balance, but you've got to carve out the time to make things happen. And including, example is kind of an action item, I guess, would be to block an hour a day for growth. Whether it's quiet time in the morning, in the evening before you go to bed, learn a new skill, study your industry. We work with a lot of people in the financial and insurance world. We do business coaching, things like that. If you're interested in getting some help, reach out to us. But, one of the things that I challenge our agents and advisors on internally is to, every week, I want you to learn a new product or a new strategy with a product, not so much the new product, but how do you use X to serve our clients? Why is that important? Studying your industry, becoming master of your craft, or networking, right? Getting out there and networking, but you've got to protect those appointments with your future self, because that's how you're going to get there. And if you're not taking the time today, you're never going to get to your destinations, right? So, in dealing with that professional growth, that's got to be a part of your plan. If not, you're going to be one of those people that are sitting in the same job for years, and life's going to go by. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But I don't think, again, our listeners or most people out there are comfortable with, well, I've been doing the same job now for 7 years. Why aren't I get promoted? Well, it's not about how long you've been in a position. It's what are you bringing to the table, right?
Value.
And the value. And that's the thing that's going to get you to that next level, or take your business to the next level. And again, we all pull our own little red wagons, right? So
yeah.
What's
Absolutely.
next? What's next? Let's talk about health.
Yeah. So focus and health. This is where you have your two sides, right? You have your people that it's like the number one priority. And then you have your people that are like, I'm trying. I'm trying to make it priority. It's just not. Yeah. It's just not. And but it is important. We've talked about the verse, your body is a temple. Like it is, our body matters. It's what houses the Holy Spirit, right? And we have to focus on, and it's not even the health for health, health sake, but like how we operate in the day to day. Like where is our focus in that? Are we focusing on moving and exercising and eating right? Or are we allowing that to be, it's funny because we talk about alcoholism or drug abuse or video game addiction. Like there's these things out there that people will talk about is bad. But in Proverbs 23, 20 and 21, it says, do not be among the drunkards or among gluttonous eaters. For the drunkards and the glutton will come to poverty, and slumber will clothe them with rags. Right. And we have a culture that is like surrounded around eating all the time. I actually just finished a 7-day fast, and it was all for spiritual reasons, not for anything health wise. But I remember like those first 2 days, how many times I walked to the fridge. And I was like, but this is normally me when I'm home during the day working. I get not bored, but it's like I need a break.
Yeah.
I go to the fridge.
So you go, And
it was just this light bulb moment for me. I'm like, because when I was doing my fast, what did I do when I went to the fridge? I'm like, nope, I'm going to pray. And so my fast has ended, but I've still kept that rhythm of, instead of going to eat because of just needing a break, I'm like, no, let me feed my soul, and I will pick up and read a scripture, or I'll pray real quick, or I'll take a quick walk. But if we can just trade out some of those habits, right, we can so drastically improve our health. And listen, if we're going to be the hands and feet of Jesus, we got to be, we got to be able to move. We got to be able to go. We got to be not out of breath when we walk up the stairs,
Yeah, no, that's one of those things that, I'm a stress eater, right? So when I get stressed out, I start, munch. And I've made a point to, again, I've got this thing hanging on the fridge, this little reminder that I'm not going to let food control me. And it helps because I've gone to the fridge a couple times and I see that. And I'm like, you're right, just close it. And it's got a little verse on there and stuff, a Bible verse. And it's helped. It's helped. So that's, but again, getting healthy, your body is a tool, right? It's a tool for your soul. It's a tool for you to serve others, to serve the kingdom, and to serve your family. And if you don't take care of it, number one, you're going to end up paying the price down the road. So you can have a little bit of pain now and, locking out the time. It doesn't have to be big, work out 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes is not even a TV show, right? Just to get your body moving and things like that. But, so how do we do this? So here's kind of, a five-step plan. Okay. Kind of an action item, right? So number one, why are you doing the things you're doing? Why do you want to improve? Okay. You've got to remind yourself of that daily. Are you doing it for your family? Are you doing it for yourself, which is great? Are you doing it for the kingdom? Why are you doing this? And just remind yourself that it's bigger than you. Right. And set those micro goals. I love having little goals that lead to big goals. Again, it's baby steps. That's why, when we talk about debt avalanche versus debt snowball, I love the snowball because you start off with the little ones and it gives you that little bit of an endorphin rush. Like, hey, this is working. It's happening for me. I'm making things happen and keeping excited about it. So number two is set those micro goals and get those small wins. Make sure they're leading to your big wins, though. Number three is identify and block distraction triggers. Mm-hmm. Maybe have your phone shut down between certain hours. Maybe when you're having dinner with your family, no phones allowed at the table. And I know that's hard, especially if you've got teenagers and stuff like that. You know what? It can be hard now or it's going to get harder later. But don't look at your email until you've got your day planned out in the morning, right? And only look at your email during certain times of the day. Don't sit there and wait for Pavlov's dog to hear the bell and all of a sudden you're grabbing your phone to see what's going on. It's sad, but as a society, we're almost like, trained monkeys. You hear the ding, you grab the phone. Ding. What's
and I want to speak to that real quick, John, because in the last couple of days, I've been really intentional with my phone and I'm blown away at how empowered it makes me feel. That
you're in control of your life.
When I see a text message pop up or when I see a messenger pop up and I am with my kids or I am driving my car or I am, busy focusing on my income producing activities, I used to let that be a distraction. And I've really been focusing on going, that can wait. This is my priority. Like if we just start reminding ourselves of what the priority is in that moment, like when I'm making dinner for my kids and sitting with my kids for dinner, because since we started school, I've never been great at doing the dinner thing. But since we started school, which has only been 2 days, I'm making dinner every night. We're sitting down. It's been all week though. We've been making dinner, sitting down together. And I'm like, well, when I do that, my phone is not at the table. I'm not doing it. Right. And if I hear a ding, it doesn't matter. It can wait. But like just remembering in the dinner that my focus is my kids. When I'm driving, my focus is my driving. When you know what I mean? And even
be here now. Be here now.
Yeah. Even when I was doing income producing activities this morning and something popped up and I'm like, oh, I should respond to them. I'm like, wait, nope. Is this admin? Or is this, so I'm kind of separating out. Here's my income producing. Here's my admin. I'm saving my admin for when my mind isn't sharp, and doing the good stuff.
Completely awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, identify those blocks, those triggers, and block them, right?
Yeah.
Those distractions, and just again allocate your time. And I love the examples you just gave. Those are awesome little life hacks there, folks. Number 4 is build accountability with someone who will challenge you, right? You've got to have a battle buddy. We've talked about that in several aspects. You've got to have someone that you've given permission to help you be better, to help you level up, that's coming to you with corrections and not necessarily criticisms, but intuitive instruction on, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Do you really want to head down that road? And you've got to be able to listen to them, right? It's one of those things that, we all need somebody. I love my men's group. There's 20 of us in there and we have open, honest, direct conversation. We have Fight Club rules. What happens in Fight Club, you don't talk about, kind of thing. But again, build that accountability into it. Have somebody, don't try to do this alone. You don't need to, right? And number 5, take daily reset, through prayer, reflection, or journaling. That's another one too. I've tried to do journaling. I just, I don't have the discipline for it, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I do love the daily prayer, and I'm starting to get into beyond prayer, daily meditation. And I'm finding, again, like you said, quiet, and it's very hard in modern America to have that quiet. So, I would challenge you, if you really want to level up, take time to do that, first thing in the morning or in the evening or something like that to wrap up the day, or better yet, both. But Psalm 16:8 says, I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him at my right hand, I will not be shaken. And that's really the posture you're looking for. I'm laser focused on my goals. I'm going to continue down that path. It's not saying you're not going to have setbacks, take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's going to happen on occasion. Don't beat yourself up. Refocus, move forward. Refocus, move forward. And you'll be amazed at what'll happen. Set some goals for 90 days, folks. That's really, going to be a game changer for you. If you stay focused, follow those steps, and, set 90-day goals, stay focused on, the Father in heaven and what he's got planned for your life. I mean, he wants you to have an abundant life. That's what we're trying to teach here with Prosper in the Kingdom. But keep in mind, the distractions are not going away. But neither
life is still gonna life. And and abundant life doesn't mean you don't have problems, because the Bible promises trials, but it's in our heart and in our actions and in our life, we can still absolutely have abundance.
Yeah. So here's the challenge for the week, folks. So get plugged into a local group, whether it's on Facebook or, you found it on Eventbrite or Meetup, whatever, right? Some kind of mastermind, business mastermind. Get plugged into a Bible study through your church or something like that. One place I will recommend that I can speak very highly of. We actually, Prosper in the Kingdom sponsors a book club for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, stuff like that. Every Wednesday, we meet at 2:00 Eastern. And we've got a book. We do 1 book a month, and I would love to have you come and just sit in, read the book with us. The book we're reading this month is The Science of Scaling by Benjamin Hardy. It's a game changer for anybody who wants to grow without losing focus. So it really kind of ties into this message as well, and really kind of how to fast track, level up your business. Or, you can apply it to your home-based business, whatever the case may be. But I'd love to have you as our guest. We'll put the link in the commentary, the description. But again, remind yourself, your future is built by where you place your attention today. You are planting the seeds for your future today. Keep your eyes facing forward. All right. That's all I got, everybody. Thank you for participating with our conversation. Again, love to hear from the chat. Do me a favor, give us a love, give us some likes, and share this on your social media. Really help us out. We're trying to get the word out about the channel and what we're trying to do. So that's a great way for you to support us. And Winnie, as always, thanks for your insight and some great stuff today. So have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Prosper in the Kingdom. If this episode added value to your day, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with someone who could use the encouragement. For more resources, head to prosperinthekingdom.com. Let's continue building lives of purpose and abundance, one step at a time.